Well, good evening, all, and welcome to Cab Crew Wednesday on this February 11th in 2026. The year's moving along. Hope everybody's doing well and staying warm. Let's see who's all in here tonight. I'll say hello to everyone. Jim Tedesco's here. Welcome, Jim. How you doing? John from Schuylkill River Valley's here. Hey, John, welcome. Kyle Stevens here. Hello, Kyle. How you doing? Let's see who else popped in here. Ronald Renew's here. Hey, Ronald, how you doing? Good to see you. And then Grandpa Rails is here. Hey, JD, how you doing? Let's see who else may have popped in. Chuck Shriver's here. Hey, Chuck, how you doing? Welcome. So that's it for now. Everybody else I said hello to. If I didn't say hello to you, just put a chat in there and let me know. You all can hear me, right? Just give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. That'd be great. Before I get started and everything. I usually test the speaker and everything before I get on, but I just want to double check, make sure everybody can hear. Very good. Thanks, John. Good, Chuck. Thanks. So, current weather in New Jersey, it finally got above the freezing level. It was in the mid 30s today here, but they were calling for freezing rain yesterday, and that never happened. It hasn't rained or anything. It has no precipitation since we got all that snow. So I still have all the snow. It's still been too cold for it to melt. So it's sitting there. Thanks a lot, JD. Get after them. Two people haven't hit the like button. I don't know why. So it's been off and on with the cold and everything. So because and I don't know what's going on out in the Midwest because I placed a couple of orders and I got an alert on my phone that there was some shipping delays out from the Midwest. So I don't know what's going on out there. You made it up to 40 today? Yeah. I don't know what the high was today, but I saw 30 something before. It could have been up to 40s. All I did was go out to get the mail and get my garbage cans, bring them back in from the garbage pickup. Well, they pick up on Wednesdays. So I went out there and got them. And they come early in the morning, so it's easy to get them and everything when the mail comes. So it's just been a lot of crazy things with the weather and stuff going on. So last couple of shows I was talking about my KD project, and that's now completed. Got all the cars switched over to new couplers without bending the hoses and elevating them with the washers, to get the truck up. Got 5 inches of snow yesterday up here in Montreal and still freezing. Yeah, I can believe. Well, you're up in the great north, so you can expect that more often. But this is the longest we've had snow laying around for a while. It's been 2 weeks now. So it's okay though. And so the coupler project is done. All the cars have been changed over and everything. And so should be good running now with them, the proper heights and everything. And they were all checked for weights, and I added more weight in some cars and stuff like that. So made it, I tuned all the cars when I was changing the couplers. So that was a long project, like 250 rolling stock I had to change. So it took time. So that got done. Then what I did this week is I did some operations on my layout. I had all those cars staged on helix. So I had to move them from the helix into wherever their locations were. You know, some were going into siding, some were going into industry, some were going into some of the classification track, the team track, the caboose track, the rip track, all in the yard and everything. So moved them around. Most of them worked. I had a couple of cars derailed. I had to either tighten the truck screw or loosen it a little bit. You know, you had to tweak them as I went along. So, and those cars are very old rolling stock that I had a long time ago, and I just had them laying in the yard and stuff like that. So now they should be fine to run. So we'll see about moving them around when I do some more other operational work, stuff like that. So, um, but I fixed most of them, and some of it was because they were going on track that they normally wouldn't be going on. You know, some of the curve track are small radiuses, and some of these longer cars that I have don't go around them too well. So, um, but they're all back in their places now. The helix is empty, um, and that. So when I was moving all the cars around, I was using my switcher engine. It's the only non-soundtrack engine I have. It's a BLI. It's a SW7, and it runs real, runs real smooth, and it works, and I didn't have no problems. And I was running it for a couple of hours, and then all of a sudden, it won't move. It won't go forward. It won't go backwards. The decoder is fine because I can hear the motor running when I try to throttle it forward or backwards. I can hear the horn. I can hear the bell. The lights work. I did a factory reset on the decoder. Nothing changed. So I sent an email to BLI support, and they replied to me today. They need me to get to the box to get some number off of the box that it came in, so they know what model and stuff it is. So that's down in my barn in the backyard. So it's still buried by snow, the front door. So I have to wait until it thaws out a little bit to get to there. So, but it runs, but it doesn't move. It just won't move. It's like the brake was turned on and it's trying to go, but it won't go nowhere. And I don't know. I even put it on a track cleaning device that I have. I turned it upside down and put it on the brass thing on the wheels, and they're supposed to spin, and they didn't spin. So I think, like I was talking to Jim Tedesco about it. I mean, he thought maybe a gear got bad or something in there, but I don't know. So that failed, and some of the operations, I need that small switcher to get in there, to get the cars in and out through some of the turnouts that I have going in and out. So I went on eBay and I found an SW7. I said I'm going to get two SW7s. So I ordered one, and the other one, the guy was had a bid on it, and he said, "Bob, you can put in an offer if you don't want to wait for the bidding. So I put in an offer, didn't hear from them. So I found another one, a little bit more than that one, but not much. And so I ordered that. And then today he shipped that out. So we shipped it out already. And so all three of the engines have been shipped out. They're all DC engines. And I'm going to convert them over to DCC once I get them. And they're Atherms, so Atherms is a lot easier to convert than most of the other engines are, so makes it easier. So they'll be here next week because the three of them, they're all three of them are coming from the west. Now it was funny. One of them that I ordered came out of El Paso, Texas. And then it was departed from El Paso, Texas today. But then a couple hours later, I got an alert saying they had a weather alert. And then it ended up in Albuquerque, New Mexico. So I don't know why they went backwards because New Jersey is east of Texas, not west of Texas. So it went backwards to Albuquerque. Maybe they sent it there because then they can fly out of Albuquerque and send it back east. I don't know. So that's the one that one came out of Texas. The other two are coming out of Indiana, and one's by the post office, and that has an alert on it too for weather issues. And then the other one's by UPS, and that's boom. Um, hey Bob, welcome. How you doing? And so it's they'll be here next week for sure. So then I'll have my hands full with uh, switching them over. So I got to get a couple of decoders that'll fit in an SW7, and that's a Soundtrack's TSU 1100, which is a smaller Soundtrack's decoder. So that's what I'm going to be putting in there. I just emailed the guy at Scale Sound Systems and asked him what kind of speakers he has for an SW7, and I'm waiting to hear from him. So they'll have sound and you know lights and stuff like that. Hey, Mike, welcome. How you doing? Good to see you here. So that's what's going on with them, and then yeah, so all three of them have been shipped. So um, I'll convert them over to DCC, like I said, and put scale sound system speakers in them and Tasami 2 decoders, which is a TSU 1100, like I said. So um, that's the plan for those three. I spent hours trying to stop my wife's computer from beeping over the last few months. Today, the UPS backup died. That was keeping up. Yeah, that means you have a bad battery in that backup. That's what that is. When they're going bad, they beep, and that's what happens. Matter of fact, um, I have a UPS to hook up to my computer here. Um, I really don't need them because my whole house is hooked up to battery backup anyway. So if the power goes out, everything stays on anyway. So I don't really need a UPS, but I have one just in case new battery arrives tomorrow. Yeah. What brand of UPS is it, Bob? I use I use APC And what's the other one I use here? I can't read the name of that brand, but it's dark over there. I need a little light to see what it says. But it's yeah, we're getting up there, JD. 13-8. There's 5 people haven't hit the like button yet. It doesn't cost you anything. So anyway, so that's what's going on with those engines. And I was watching other people's videos and commenting on them. An APC, okay. This battery number 3 for the unit. Yeah, they don't last. They don't last forever, Bob. So I came across a video done by this guy, and because what I was looking for is how to convert a DC to DCC in an SW7. They're smaller engines, blah blah blah. And this guy did a switcher conversion, and it was I think it was an Atherin engine, and I had an engine here that I was waiting for Jason. I bought it from him. It was some estate sale type of thing, and I bought this engine from him. And he has the exact same engine as I do. And then he didn't get a chance to do his. So I watched his video, and then I got a great idea on how to convert the engines over, and it's really easy to do. And so, hey Dwight, welcome. So the Atherin engines are connected to the frame of the motor, and then on the bottom has a clip on it, and that clip touches a piece of metal that's on the frame, and that's how it gets power to the motor. So what you have to do is take the motor out and then put a piece of black tape on that strip. Then what I did was I took the 2 clips, one's on the top and one's on the bottom. The one on the bottom has 2 springy things sticking out of it. That's what touches the metal or the metal plate. And I put that on the top instead of the bottom. I didn't want to mess with it touching anything, even if I had the tape down there. So I flipped them, and then I cut those 2 tabs off. I soldered a gray wire to the bottom clip and put that on the bottom, and then an orange wire on the top clip. And when you take those clips off, there's a spring in there that you have to be careful it doesn't go flying all over the place. And you put that clip back in, and away you go. And Dave, DB Tech Dave's here. Hey, Dave, welcome. So I got a nice plan for that. And so I took that engine that I've had for a long time, and I converted that today. I started it yesterday, and I finished it up today. Yesterday, I was able to get the motor isolated and the wire soldered on. And what I did was I took some plaque card. It's white stock, it's thicker paper stuff, and I cut a small piece out, and I used that to insulate the decoder from the motor. I laid that flat there. I drilled some holes into the paper, that plaque paper, so that the wires coming from underneath can come up through. and then they came. Um, they came, to come through the holes so that they wouldn't have to loop over or something like that. So I could drill the holes, the motor wires. I drilled 2 holes in that. They came up through, got it all on. I had a speaker, and boom, uh, it worked, and it sounded pretty good. I hooked up lights in it. It took a while to get the lights set up, and then to get the lights into the little hole, the holes and everything. That took a little extra effort to do that. And then I sealed it up, put couplers on it, and it runs. So let's see, anybody else? That's just Dave and everybody saying hello to the newbies. Bobby, who's Bobby? Who did I miss? I didn't see nobody named Bobby. Who are you talking about, Dwight? Hi, Bobby. Oh, Bob. Okay. Dwight, you are throwing out up there at all. Hey, Dwight, what's going on with the weather out in your area? Getting any snow or freezing rain or something like that? Let's see if they changed anything. No, it's still got an alert for this is St. John, Indiana. That's where this was. The alert came in from. So um, they're all going to be here next week anyway. But that's the it's been in the low 50s. Okay. So um, let me see what else. So up in let me see if I can make this here bigger. I parked 2 engines up here in this engine house. That's an engine house, and then there's another 2 stall engine house over here. Um, well, her eye still is bothering her. She don't go for surgery until later in March for the eye, or is it the end of February? I forget the date exactly, but she's going back in for surgery again. It's going to be warm for 10 more days. Yeah, well, that's interesting. Why they have alerts for the weather. But anyway, some of the engines I was using to move the cars around, thanks for asking, Bob. I parked them into this engine house up here. And down here, this is a double crossover. Anybody see something missing? It's a turnout. Okay. I was running the trains from the helix across this level here, and then it turns out onto this here, and then I was going to cross over to the inside track, which then puts me into the yard that's back in here. There's a yard back there. So I was going to park some cars in that yard. Well, when I cut across the track here, I didn't have no track power on this section of track from that turnout there underneath the bridge to this turnout here, the track was dead, and there's a small section of track right there, and the turnout was where this dark piece is, and I thought it was the joiners here, so I soldered those joiners, and it still wasn't giving me track power. So let me make myself big. And I'm going to show you what went wrong on the turnout. Here's the turnout. And this here piece here, there's a metal piece right here. And what I was doing was I was pushing it down on that. And then I had track power. So something went wrong. Either that it got loose or whatever. So I ordered another turnout to replace this. They haven't shipped it yet, but got to be careful when you order turnouts, because this is a number 6, but they make a couple different kinds of number 6s. And you see the ballast and everything. It was ballast and everything. But see how this one, the diverging track is almost as long as the length of the straight through section. That's a special kind of turnout. And this is an Atlas turnout. The other turnouts, the diverging track is usually shorter. If you look at regular turnouts, it'll be shorter, different numbers. So you have to be careful. So when I ordered it, I looked at the picture of this and I said, oh, that's the one. So, because they don't tell you the model number on the back of the turnouts, not everyone. This tells you it's a number 6. It has a number 6 on the back of it. It tells you it's Atlas. Of course, they put the brand name on there. They should put the model number. They should say if this is a 505, a 595, a 591, whatever it is. So this is a left-hand turnout. So I found the left-hand turnout, and boom. Oh, you're currently 66 in South Texas. High was 76. That's nice, Chuck. I wish we had 70-degree weather. So that's what's going on with that. So I just stop sharing, share screen, window there, share, add the stage. So I just added a straight section of track there temporarily until I get my turnout, and then I can spring in Texas. Yeah. I don't know. My turnouts don't have numbers. Yeah, no, they don't. Oh, well, I don't know what brands you have, Dwight, but the Atlas, at least they put number 6 or number 4 or number 5 or whatever. Damn, Chuck, the AC would be necessary. No, not at 70 degrees. Nah, not that temperature. AC, if it's in the 90s, maybe. Pico. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if what Pico does with their. I don't use Pico. I only have 2 pieces of Pico track, and one of them is a 3-way switch. Yeah, that's what you should do. If you're using Pico, use Pico. Mixing and matching is not good. So I have 2 Pico track pieces of track. One's a double slip, which is a code 83, and that works fine. And the three-way switch is a code 100, and I'm all code 83 track. So I had to use those transition joiners. And I was running the track cleaning car the other day, and it hung up right at that turnout. So I looked at it closer, and here the transition joiner was a little out of whack. So I decided to I contacted Jason and see if he could make me a code 83 three-way switch, and then I'll replace it with his made one. So he's going to make me one. I'm just waiting for him to do that. And I monkeyed around with the transition joiners, and then I took the track cleaning car and I manually pushed it through, and it went through okay. But that doesn't mean those transition joiners won't sync again, because that's what happens. Because they're like this, right? Because the code 100 is a little uh, higher of a rail than the code 83, right? So they have to drop it down a little bit. And what happens is it drops down too much and it leaves a bump there. And that's even if you're trying to run train the other direction to back up on that track, which I need to do in case I want to put another car and take it up to Helix or something, it it does, it doesn't come out right. So right, SL91 number 4, yeah, right. SL492s, 95 and 96, right? Yeah, that's the Pico numbers. They use SL. So I got an SLE99, which is a code 100 three-way switch. And I don't know what the double switch name, the number is. Um, so, um, but that's that. So that's what's going on with the double crossover. And it was funny. I thought I had it with this, loose joiner or something, but it was not the case. It was the turnout. So once I get that turnout shipped out and sent to me, then I can get that working again. You don't need it when I run the train because the trains don't cross over or anything. And this is just for operational use. So if I wanted to, as you can see, right here is a turnout. That loops around and that goes over to the other section, the other layout on the other side. And I come across this double crossing and I go back past this turnout, switch a turnout, and then I can push the cars in there and connect them back to that train that's running over on that layout. So I got two ways to get to that. So, but I need that double crossover to do that because I have to get to the inside track to go that way or to get to the yard down here. And then the outside track is there's a single crossover to get over to the other layout. So I can get that way too. So without going over that double crossover. So, and I hardly ever use that double crossover, but with the operations and stuff and moving cars around and everything, they're going to get to use it more often. And the turnout needs to work. Hey, Randall, welcome. How you doing? Yeah, there you go, Dwight. You got all the numbers there. I think Dwight needs number sixes for his staging yard. That's what he was when he was showing his expansion. He was going to put a staging yard, some staging tracks. Yeah, see, my train room is like 77. It goes from the lowest it's ever been was like 68 in that room, and the highest it's ever been is like 78. So it's in that 10-degree range, and I don't let it get any colder in that room or any hotter in that room. And the humidity in that room is low. So let me get out of this. Um, Last week I showed you guys that I had told you that I put a light in my Ranger tower that's up there on the in my park uh, scene that I have with the lake and all that stuff. And there's a Ranger tower there, and I added a light. Well, I added a light and I had to drill a hole. So I drilled a hole, and it was the wire was just on this side of this panel. So I didn't hit the panel, but um, the drill vibrated, and this here panel fell over and knocked down the lighting. You can see the lighting is laying there. So I got to get in there and fix it. And the light that's up here, you see this light up here, that's supposed to light up the corner so you can see the workers and everything. And that um, light fell down too. So I just put that back up to before the show started. I didn't have time to clip this in. I have clips up there that I just slip that in and it'll keep it up there. But it just knocked it over. I'll be building number 10s and number 12s for my lab. Got the jigs already. Okay. That's something that I didn't want to mess around with, trying to make I didn't want to make turnouts myself. But somebody else that knows how to do it and make them. That's why I contacted Jason, throw some money to his, let him do it and get that done. So yeah, so that's what happened there. So I didn't even realize it until tonight when I looked at the stream. Well, if you have long cars, that's what you need. Yeah, I have a portable AC unit too, and that's what I bring into my train room if it gets too hot outside. It keeps it cool, and that's good. So I just have to fill it up with water. I don't know what yours is like, Bob, but mine I have to fill up a bucket in there with water, and then it cools the thing. You can even put ice packs in the the bucket to help cool it down a little. So that's what I did there. So, but it's we got all kinds of new things with getting things straightened out and everything. And the trains on the first level with the track cleaning cars seem to work. I got another track cleaning car coming for the passenger train. The passenger train I run had a scale train engine on it. It's a GP 18, smaller engine, and but I couldn't get a track cleaning car to match that GP18. So I had an F7 engine that was sitting in my engine house, and I said, "Let me bring that out," and I put that on the passenger train. I took the GP18 out. That's now in the yard. So it's running the train, and I got the another track cleaning car. It's going to be an F7 dummy engine, and that'll be a consist for that train, and it'll look streamlined a lot better than having a F7 in front of a GP18. So uh, very nice, Kyle. So it's a big change. The portable air condition. See, I have central heat in my house. There's vents that go underneath the floors and everything, but there's no central air. And I had a guy come over. He was going to install, and then I never heard from him, so I just forgot about it. So it's got a portable unit. The ceiling fans cool off the rooms pretty good. So, um, but um, the funny thing is that when the guy came to check the furnace or whatever you want to call it, it was upside down. They put the thing upside down for whatever reason they did that. Um, that's to force the air through the pipes, the tubes that go into each room in my house. This room here has no heat in it, and it's 72 degrees in this room right now. The train room has a heat in it. Yeah, that's good, JD. Yeah, this portable units work really good. So this Kyle, I did my HOA still has rules. The hell with the HOA people. Tell them to go pound salt. Are you on any of those videos I see with the HOA Karen coming to your house and telling you can't paint it pink, or you can't paint it this color, or you can't do this? Now they're trying to tell the guys to take their flags down. I see a lot of videos about that now. Anybody ever come over to my house and try to take my flag down, they're gonna be looking down the barrel of a 357. No, I don't think. No, it's just normal weather, Bob. Everybody thinks it's extreme. It's not extreme. We get yeah, the chicken are hungry. Yeah, they are, Dwight. I haven't. What I've been. The last thing I printed, Bob, was um, labels, um, rectangle labels with wording on it, and it was the level numbers on the helix. I don't know if you could be able to see them, Yeah, you can if I point to them. Right here. These is what I printed. Level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5, level 6, level 7, level 8, level 9, level 10, level 11, 12, 13, 14. So that's what I did. I printed those. It took a while to design them and get the letters. And once you get them the letters on, you have to be careful on how you download the file because um, if the letters are all part of the um, body that you put it on, you can't paint it properly. So you have um, you can't paint it the letters a different color. So I printed them gray, and then the letters were yellow. So I did that for that. I don't have a 337, but a 44. Yes, sir. But crappy Filipino product, not reliable. Now, mine's a Smith and Wesson 357, 6-inch barrel. It'll put a hole in an engine block. Thanks, Chuck. And Chuck, I can pick that up with one hand. That's very light. That's made out of gator board. And the sides are all made out of gator board. It's a very light piece of helix, very light. Originally, Chuck, I only had 4 levels. That just went to this section here. Then I added this level, and then I added the subway system, and then the 5th level. What did Bob say? Oh, did he 3D print the gun? No. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, my flag, I had to take it down. It got destroyed from the high winds we had, so I had to get a new one. But it's going to get out there again. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, Picatinny Arsenal. So he used to work in New Jersey, huh? How many levels do I have? It's 14, Ronald. There's 14 levels there. So, I had these, the label maker, and I had labels. I labeled them all, and I didn't like them too much. And so I peeled them off, and my 3D printed ones look a lot better. So I made enough to go up a couple of these posts that go up, and I have them in different locations. And then I did some on the inside. If I'm working on the inside of the helix, um, then I have them marked in there too, so I know what level I'm on. So, matter of fact, like the other day, I was running some of those cars, and they were longer cars, and they hit one of the sensors. So now I know it was on level 6. It hit the sensor on 6, so I can say, "Oh, that's level 6," and the sensors up there need to be adjusted for a longer car to go through. I have a big box fan in the basement that came out of my family's restaurant in the 60s, and my dad used it for years. Yeah, and it probably still works. Like I said, I have a refrigerator That still it works, and that was from 1954, a Westinghouse. And the scratch on the doors when I rode my tricycle in the kitchen, and the metal of the handlebar scraped the paint on the door. Still there, and the thing still works. Chills, and their freezer freezes. So 1954, 71 years ago, still working. Today's refrigerators, you're lucky if they last 7 years, not 70. So anyway, that's the what I did. That's the only 3D printing, other than when I was doing my coupler project. I had to change the trucks on some of the cars. They still had those Talladega um, trucks on them, which you cannot um, elevate at all with them. So uh, I yanked all of them off. I took silicone tubing and filled the hole. The inside diameter was good enough for the screw, and you got to do that. Nice, Bob. Yes, I have one, two, three, four, five, five entrance and exit points on the Helix, Ronald. Five of them. First level, second level, the yard, subway system, and then the fifth level, the top level. One, two, three, four, five. Yeah. And it's two tracks up to the on the Helix, but in a section on, because remember I told you I first had just four levels. Well, those two tracks curved into the second level. So I put a turnout on the inside track to go to a single track, and then I have a Y around the corner, and then that splits into two tracks. So I have two tracks all the way up the Helix, two tracks all the way up to the fourth level, and then the inside track continues to go around up the Helix to a Y, which splits it to go to two different tracks. So yeah, I could have done it differently, but I didn't want to mess up the tracks going into the second level. I didn't want to change, mess around with them. So I just took out the corner. What are the red things up there? They're the buildings. They cover the turnout motors. You can't mount the turnout motors underneath the levels because then the train will hit it there. So what I did was I 3D printed a pad and super glued it with some brackets, and then I mounted the turnout motor on the pad, and then I 3D designed the building and the roof and drilled holes, and the lights right here, these lights here are red and green. It tells you which way the turnout's going. And I have a few of them on the helix. There's one there that's on the inside. Then there's three here, and there's two other in the back that I have there, Dwight. That's what they're for. They cover up the that's lots of track. That's lots of track. Yeah, yes, it is. Um, the other thing too, Ronald, on the helix, when I first put it in, I tried to use flex track on the helix, and the guys showed you cutting the flex track and then soldering it straight, then bending it around. Well, that didn't work out too well for me. So I had to pull out all the track. This was only when I had 4 levels. I figured this out. Thank God I did that. And I changed it all to sectional track, which worked out a lot easier. And so that track is nailed down with a nail. I just push it through the board. Yeah. So, and then I had to cut off the bottom of the nails. They're sticking through because my knuckles were getting all cut up when I was cleaning the each level, and so I had to cut them all off. So eventually, yeah, I soldered everything, Ronald. So I had to yank it all the track out, and that was it. So then I got sectional track, 22 inside and 24 outside, and that works well with all the length cars that I have. I have one car that's 84-foot car, and it goes on the 24 track, no problem. So yeah, that's yeah. I mean, it's light. That's what I wanted, light. And the Gator board was as light as it could have been. So there's sections, and then you just connect them with plate underneath. You super glue the plates together, and then you got a section. And then you go to the next one, and right around and around and around and around, and up and you go. And then they have straight pieces, and those. Then I made a long bridge up here. That's a long bridge that goes to the subway system, and these are short bridges going into the yard. There's another entrance to the yard on the back side of the helix. If you want to go down the helix, you go down this one. If you want to go up the helix, you go out the other side. I got it from the backdrop guy, Joey. Yep, that's right, Mike. That's the guy's name, Joey. Yeah, I just ordered the sections, and then they shipped them to me, and I put it together. And it's simple to do. It's not hard. And it was. I watched a lot of videos. These guys making their helixes and cutting wood, and you can you can mark, remark, remark, and remark, and still cut it wrong. Yeah, Joey Rickard. Yeah, that's right, JD. Uh, so I don't know about reliable, Bob. You know, I had code 100 when I first had my layout back in 1973. But when I went over to DCC mode, I switched everything over to code 83. And all the code 100 track, I gave that to Jim Tedesco when I went down there one time. I brought all the track that I had to him. I don't know how many turnouts I had, and wasn't going to use them anyway because they weren't um, the frogs. Every one of my turnouts, I got 60 turnouts. Um, it all, yeah. Code A3 has more options for curve turnouts. It also has crossovers and everything. How do you get into the inside track? Do you have crossovers on the Helix, Mike? Um, like I said, um, on the fourth level, I have a Y switch, and then that splits it into two tracks. Yeah. So um, that's what I did. I don't cross over to the inside or outside, nowhere. You down at the bottom level, there's a Y turnout, and that enters the helix. You can either go on the inside track or the outside track. From the first level, you go to the outside track, you're only going to go up to second level. That's as far as you can go. If you want to go all the way up, you got to go to the inside track. And then the inside track, you go around and the turnout is switched to continue to go up the helix. If you wanted to go to the second level on the inside track, you would switch the turnout to go there. So, and no crossovers on the helix. I was not going to mess with that. I don't need it. Um, the yard is all accessible from the outside track. Once it gets up to the Y, you have to go to the outside track at the Y to get to the other exit points. No, it's not double tracked all the way up. It's double tracked all the way up except for two sections. Two of these sections, one, two, right at this level here, which goes to second level. Back in here, there's a Y switch. So there's one, two sections off of the turnout. That's only one track. And then that turns into two tracks. So, so I could have a train coming down on the one side and one going up on the other side if I needed to. And then all they have to do is they all I got to do is switch the track at the turnout to get to the inside or outside. Yeah, yeah. I had Kyle. I have 60 turnouts on my layout. 60 of them. So code 83 for your next layout, Bob. Yeah. Is that what your jigs are, Bob, for code 83? Yeah, I got my. You have 42 turnouts. Yeah, it's amazing how the turnouts add up quickly, don't they? So, and let's see about that. So, let me just in double slip. Yeah, code 83 jigs. Good. And double slips. Well, I have um, well, double slips is two turnouts. Okay, yeah, you need two turnout motors to run a double slip, and the three-way switch is two turnouts. You need two motors to run a three-way switch. So that's four turnouts right there. And then the other 56 are single turnout, part of a double slip or a double crossover, or single crossover, whatever. So, so that's what I did. That's what the Helix is all about. So a lot of work in that, getting it to work, and it's a lot of work to clean it too. That's why I had to cut the nails off, because to get the little vacuum in there to vacuum off each level, because it gets dusty. Yeah, double slips switches save space. Yes, they do. You are you code 100, Kyle? If you're code 100, I'll have a three-way switch for you as soon as Jason gets me my code 83 three-way made. So you don't have to buy a three-way. That's if you're code 100. It's a Pico code 100 three-way I have. An EL S, no, it's an SLE 99. Oh, Walter's code 83. Oh, okay. I don't think Walters makes a code 83 three-way. They used to, the Sicaria or whatever the name is, they used to make three-ways, but you can't find them anywhere. I looked for one and I couldn't find one. Yeah, Insta frogs. Yeah. Now all my frogs are powered, every last one of them. Even the double slip is. When you run switchers and small engines through those, you need to have power on the frog, or they won't. They'll die on the frog. So I powered every one of mine, and on some of the turnouts, I had to make my own bus bar, um, and that works out fine, and everything like that. So I have all the stuff. So that's it. All right, people. Well, um, that's what I use, JD. 9x5, if I remember right. Double sleep space. Yep. Hey, Bernard, welcome. How you doing? Yep, that's right. You can run anything on either code 100 or code 83, no problem. So, well, people, I want to thank everybody for coming in tonight. I appreciate everybody. Hope everybody has a great week. Don't forget to watch Jim Tedesco's show tomorrow at 6 o'clock in the evening. Hope his internet service is good for tomorrow's show. And I don't have any other announcements to make. Thank you, everyone, for stopping in and spending time with me tonight. And let's everybody run your trains and have some fun. We'll catch you all in the next Wednesday. I'll be back here, and we'll see you then. Everybody have a great day, and thanks for being with me. Take care and good night.